What if your love language reveals what your heart needed most? A heart-to-heart love lesson from the House of Love. Welcome to the House of Love. Come sit down for a little heart-to-heart love lesson about the many ways love is given, received, and deeply felt. Sometimes we think we are loving people well simply because we are giving love the way we naturally express it. And while that love may absolutely be sincere, the heart standing in front of you may receive love very differently. What if love became more than simply giving what feels loving to us? What if love also became learning the language another heart is able to hear? Some hearts feel deeply loved through words of affirmation, gentle words that heal places criticism once bruised. Some hearts feel loved through quality time, unhurried moments where they feel fully seen, heard, chosen, and important. Some hearts feel love through physical touch, a hand held, a hug that quietly says, "You are safe with me." Some hearts feel cherished through acts of service, quiet kindness that lightens heavy loads. And some hearts feel remembered through thoughtful gifts, little reminders that say, "I was thinking of you even when you weren't in the room." There is nothing wrong with loving others in the way love naturally flows from us. But deeper love learns to ask, what feels like love to your heart? Because real love is not only about expressing love. It is also about helping another person truly receive it. Sometimes a person's love language may reveal something their heart deeply needed growing up. Not always, but often the places where love was lacking in childhood become the very places where love feels especially healing in adulthood. A child who grew up hearing criticism, ridicule, harshness, angry tones, shame, or constant correction may slowly begin to shut down emotionally. Those words can deeply affect self-worth, confidence, identity, and the way a person sees themselves. So later in life, words of affirmation may feel deeply healing. Not just hearing, "I love you," but hearing someone speak to the heart with tenderness. Hearing someone say, "I see goodness in you. You matter. I'm thankful for who you are. Your heart has value." Healing words help remind the heart that its identity and worth are not found in cruel labels, rejection, criticism, or painful opinions spoken over them. The Father of love is the one who defines worth, identity, value, beauty, and truth. His view is the reality, not the wounds others tried to place upon someone's heart. Some children grow up feeling invisible, unheard, emotionally overlooked, interrupted, dismissed, or alone even while surrounded by people. So later in life, quality time may feel like one of the deepest forms of love. Because to those hearts, love is not merely being in the same room. It is presence, eye contact, receiving attention, listening with care, responding thoughtfully, making space for someone's voice, thoughts, feelings, and heart. For some hearts, being fully heard feels more loving than expensive gifts ever could. Some children also grow up without affection, tenderness, hugs, comfort, or emotional compassion. Maybe when they got hurt they were told to shake it off, stop crying, toughen up, or ignore their pain. Sometimes they learned very early that their hurt would not be comforted. So later in life, physical touch can feel deeply healing to their hearts. Sometimes physical touch quietly says, "You are safe. I care about your pain. You do not have to hide your hurt from me. You are not alone." Some children grow up with emotionally immature parents. Parents lost in addictions, distractions, selfishness, chaos, or survival mode. Sometimes those children quietly learn to parent themselves. They learn to carry responsibilities too heavy for little shoulders. They learn to do everything alone. So later in life, acts of service may feel incredibly healing because having someone help them, support them, care for them, or lighten their load communicates something their heart longed for all along. You do not have to carry everything alone anymore. And thoughtful gifts can feel deeply meaningful too. Not because of money or material things, but because being thoughtfully remembered touches the heart. Some people grew up rarely feeling noticed, celebrated, remembered, or thoughtfully considered. So when someone remembers what they love, surprises them with something meaningful, or gives a thoughtful little gift connected to who they are, it can deeply touch the heart because it quietly says, I see you. I know what brings you joy. You matter to me. This is why love grows deeper when we learn each other's love languages. It does not mean we stop expressing love naturally in the ways that are meaningful to us. Love can still overflow through generosity, encouragement, serving, affection, time, or kindness. But when we know what truly makes another person feel loved, we can love them more intentionally. Sometimes the most beautiful question we can ask another heart is simply, what makes you feel loved? There are even love language quizzes people can take together that may help friendships, marriages, families, parents, children, and relationships better understand one another. Because many conflicts are not always caused by a lack of love. Sometimes people are sincerely loving each other, but speaking different emotional languages. If you would like to discover your own love language or better understand the heart of someone you love, I will share the official 5 love languages quiz link. I am not connected to them and do not receive anything from sharing this link. I am simply sharing it to save people the trouble of searching for it because I believe it may genuinely help some relationships grow in greater understanding, compassion, connection, and intentional love. But the House of Love also reminds us of something very important. No human being can completely fill the deep place in the heart that was ultimately created for God alone. If we try to make another person our entire source of identity, healing, security, worth, or emotional survival, relationships can slowly drift into unhealthy dependence and pressure that no human heart was ever designed to carry. Love was never meant to replace God. Love was meant to reflect Him. We are not the main source of love. We are extensions of His love. That is why healthy love points hearts back toward the Father of love. The one whose love never runs dry, never changes, never abandons, and never fails. The scriptures teach us to love God and love people. To love others as we love ourselves. Not to worship people. Not to emotionally cling to them as our only lifeline. But to love one another deeply, healthily, tenderly, and truthfully. And in the house of love, the thermostat is always set by love himself. It is never too cold. Never emotionally icy, distant, harsh, dismissive, cutting, or withholding. And it is never a raging hot temper either. The temperature of the house of love is gentle, safe, steady, warm, comforting, and peaceful. A place where you get to be who God created you to be. A place where you are safe, treasured, cherished, seen, known, heard, and valued. A place where people do not merely tell you that you matter. They treat you like you matter. Because love is not only revealed in the words we speak, but also in the way we handle another person's heart. The house of love teaches us to listen for the language of another heart. To care in ways that bring comfort instead of repeating old wounds. To speak life where criticism once lived. To give presence where emotional distance once echoed. Love offers gentleness where harshness once sat at the table. And to love people in ways that help them feel safe, known, valued, and treasured. Love grows most beautifully when it becomes personal. Not just loving others the way we would want to be loved, but loving them in the way that helps them finally feel seen, heard, comforted, understood, and deeply cherished. That is where connection begins. And sometimes, that is where healing begins too. And before you leave this little love lesson in the house of love, there is something I especially want to say directly to you if you have not been loved well. If you grew up feeling unlovable. If you still question your worth, value, identity, and significance. If you were criticized more than cherished, overlooked more than noticed, used more than nurtured. If you learned to serve everyone else while secretly wondering if anyone would ever truly care for you too. This part is especially for your heart. If you rarely heard, "I love you." If you longed for affection, comfort, hugs, tenderness, gentleness, and emotional safety. If you often felt invisible in rooms full of people. If you feel lonely even while surrounded by others. Or if part of you still feels like you have to earn love, prove your worth, perform well enough, fix enough, give enough, or become enough before you can finally be fully loved. Please hear this deeply in your heart tonight. You're not hard to love. You're not too much. You are not unwanted, invisible, a burden, or forgotten. And your worth was never meant to be measured by who failed to love you well. God sees you. God knows you. God hears you. God understands your heart completely. He sees the tears you hide from others. He sees the exhaustion behind your smile. He sees the places where rejection, harsh words, abandonment, disappointment, loneliness, or emotional neglect wounded your heart. And He has never once mistaken your value. You were never created merely to survive. You were created to be deeply loved. The Father of love is inviting you to become His child of love. To rest in His heart. To belong to His family of love. And to let His truth become louder than every painful label ever spoken over your life. Love Himself is fluent in every love language on earth and in heaven. He knows how to speak directly to your heart. He knows how to affirm the insecure places in you, comfort the hurting places in you, hold the lonely places in you, strengthen the weary places in you, and gently remind you that you have always been seen. You do not have to earn His love. You do not have to perform for it. You do not have to become perfect before receiving it. You are invited to come exactly as you are. And little by little, as His love reaches the places where pain once lived, may your heart begin to heal in ways you never thought possible. So tonight, may heaven gently wrap itself around your heart. May the Father of love heal places people wounded. May love Himself restore what life tried to steal from you. May the Holy Spirit whisper truth louder than shame. May you begin seeing yourself through the eyes of the Father of love instead of through the wounds of people who did not know how to love you well. And may you slowly discover that you were worthy of love all along. And may we here on earth become safer places for hearts like yours. May we become people who help love one another back to life again. People who walk side by side from earth to heaven someday. On earth as it is in heaven. May you receive the love of God, encounter the Father of love, and experience His love continuing to heal your heart one beautiful piece at a time. Heart to heart in His love, Momo Smiley.